Thank you all for coming today. I have a statement here that I'd like to read, and then I'll answer a few questions at the conclusion of this. I'm Mike Bishop, Police Chief for the Longview Police Department, and I'd like to speak to you today in reference to the recent arrests that were made in relation to our most recent homicide on Scenic Drive. On September 7, 2015 at 9:18 p.m., Longview Police were dispatched to a robbery that had already occurred in the 500 block of Scenic Drive. While officers were on the scene of the robbery call, additional officers were dispatched at 9:35 p.m. to a gunshots heard call in the area of Broadway Court and Scenic Drive. Then at 9:57 p.m., officers were dispatched to a shooting that just occurred in the 400 block of Scenic Drive. The caller told dispatch that someone was laying in the roadway. When police arrived, it appeared the victim had been shot and the suspects had fled the scene prior to police arrival. The victim, identified as 35-year-old Frederick Louis Jones, was transported to Good Shepherd Medical Center with life-threatening injuries and later died at the hospital. Longview Police detectives began their investigation and immediately began to receive information related to this homicide. They worked diligently to identify suspects in this case. On Wednesday, our investigators obtained arrest warrants for the 3 individuals involved in the murder of Frederick Louis Jones. Last night at approximately 7 p.m., the department's SWAT team executed arrest and search warrants at 418 number A, Tammy Lynn. Those arrested were 18-year-old DeAndre Dwayne Darden, 17-year-old Devontae Damon Darden, and a 16-year-old juvenile. Both adult suspects have been charged with 1 charge of murder and 1 charge of aggravated robbery. The juvenile has been charged with deadly conduct, aggravated robbery, and murder. This investigation is still ongoing. The Longview Police Department would like to thank those who came forward for turning over valuable information related to this murder. Frederick Louis Jones, along with all other victims of homicides here in Longview, deserve justice. The citizens of Longview have shown through this case that they will not tolerate this type of criminal activity. Through citizen cooperation with the police, this homicide was able to be solved and 3 murder suspects arrested and put behind bars. We appreciate the support of the citizens and encourage them to continue to provide valuable information that will help solve other crimes, making Longview a safer place to live. Now, before I open it up to questions, I want to make a couple of comments. First off, I want to sincerely thank those citizens that came forward that were interviewed by police and the information that they provided during this investigation. I want to thank our criminal investigators. Detective Rebecca Reeves was the lead investigator on this, and she was assisted by other detectives assigned to the Crimes Against Property section. I want to thank our SWAT team, our Special Investigations and Apprehension Unit, and the officers assigned to the Patrol Division. This was a very fluid investigation from the beginning, and it took everybody's effort to investigate this murder. I'd also like to thank the Gregg County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Carl Dura. He had somebody on his staff with us from the beginning, and they assisted us in the preparation of obtaining the arrest warrants and the search warrants that go with this. So with that being said, with the understanding that this is still an ongoing investigation, I'll take a couple questions and answer those that I can answer at this time.
Mike, can you comment on how the suspects in this case and the victim knew each other?
Not at this time. That will, more details about this and how it occurred will come out as more information becomes available. You can see in the statement that I read, there was a series of events that happened prior to this homicide. So as we work our way through the investigation, more information will become available on that later on.
I heard reports that perhaps the suspects had shot and killed Jones as a way of throwing off their previous crimes. Anything to that?
Nothing that I'm aware of that would be related to that.
Were the suspects resistant to arrest, or did they comply with law enforcement when you guys showed up on their property?
When we showed up, we utilized our SWAT team to take them into custody because of the violent nature of this crime and the weapons that were used. So when the officers arrived there, we were able to appropriately take them into custody without resistance.
I'll pass my question.
No questions? Okay. Well, I thank you all for coming today. As this investigation continues, we'll release more information when we're at a position when we're able to do that. And I'd like to ask everybody to keep the families of both the victims and the suspects in their prayers. This is a situation where many lives and many families have been ruined, and we need to keep them all in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you all for coming.